Mrs. Kazarovich. I'm a third grade teacher here at Radcliffe Elementary. The students are setting their iReady diagnostic goals for their tests for winter. So they took their tests in the fall, and that is a baseline of where they are at in reading and math. And then by the end of the school year, it would tell us what their typical growth is, and then if they work really hard, what their stretch growth is. They're going to be taking a mid-test. So I'm trying to show them what their typical growth can be by the end of the school year and their stretch growth, and letting them choose what goal do they have to meet in those subjects by the end of the school year. And then I'm going to use those for them to determine how much of that growth do they want to show in their winter test when they're about halfway through the school year.
And so far, do you think they're setting realistic goals?
I think so, and I think having that that typical and stretch growth already in there helps them on their realistic goals. I do have some who want to really shoot for the moon, and some who are, oh, I can only score 2, but I think sometimes it's the understanding of what those numbers actually mean. Now, for the winter diet, this is for the springtime, okay? So in order to get from, give me a number, by the spring, what do you want to get to?
524. I want to be all the way there.
524 for the spring? Okay, so that would mean you would need to grow by plus 40. Now for the winter, how many of that do you want to grow by?
10 of those.
10 of those? Okay. So that would be, what do you know what 484 plus 10 is? 494. Good. So you're going to put your 494
Oh,
here.
no, I want to be at 524.
I know, but that'll be by the springtime, and you're going to be taking your test in December and at the end of the year.
And I want to be at 510 in December.
510 in December? Okay. So cross that off, right? 510.
I am Amanda Scanlon. I'm a third grade teacher at Radcliffe Elementary, and today we're working on our iReady goal setting. We are explaining to the students where they scored on their fall iReady diagnostic tests, and we're giving them an opportunity to set their own goals for their December iReady test so that they can see how they can improve their own scores and really take charge of their own education. Does that make sense? All right, so let's make some new goals. So for your reading score, I'll tell you what, you rocked your reading test, okay? You scored 536 points. That is amazing, okay? 536. So by the end of this school year, okay, we want to see you hit 558 points. But that is by the end of the school year. So that's not something we need you to hit right now, okay? We're going to work towards that all year long. So to get you from 536 to 558, which is about 20 points, right? How many points do you think you can project to score in your December test? About halfway between 536 and 558.
Our admin team here at West Hardin has been goal setting with students over the past couple of weeks. Myself, the assistant principals, and our counselors have all been a part of the process. We found that it's really beneficial if all of us get involved in talking to our students about how they're doing in class. So it's not only their math teacher or their reading teacher that they're hearing from, they're getting the opportunity to talk to us about how they're scoring on the iReady test as well as the KSA test, and then they're getting the chance to set goals with us. So we're having this conversation in preparation for a family data night that we have coming up on November the 14th. And our students are going to then turn around and lead those conferences about their data and how they're doing in the reading and math areas with their families. So this is, again, preparation with us so that we can answer any questions that they may have and so that they better understand how they're scoring and what types of goals they're setting for themselves. So when we sit down with each student, and we've done this with all 500 of our students, we first take a chance students to ask them how things are going in the classroom and how school is going so far this year. And then we are sharing with them their KSA results for the first time. So this is the first time that they have been able to see how they scored on last year's KSA test. And because the test and the reporting of the data is a little different, we are taking a little bit of time to explain it to our students about the novice, apprentice, proficient, and distinguished scale. And then we set a goal with them. But we only take the KSA test once a year, so iReady is really a better indicator for us. So the iReady test is taken 3 times a year, and we really talk with our students all throughout the year about how they're doing on iReady, not just on the 3 diagnostics, but also the MyPath that they complete daily. That's a very individualized lesson plan for them based on the skills that they are needing to recoup if they are missing any, or skills that will push them to the next level. So we just sit down with each student and we talk with them. We go ahead and set a goal for our winter test that is coming up. And we also go ahead and talk about a goal for the KSA test that they'll take at the end of the year. And then at the winter time, our teachers will do this with students, and then admin will sit down again in the spring and do this with students. So someone will be goal setting with our students individually, one-on-one, 3 times throughout the year to talk to them about their data and reading and math and how they're scoring, and also to ask them if there's anything that we can do to provide them extra support. We've really enjoyed this time. It's a great time with each of our students, and we hope to see that they are showing lots of success in the winter whenever we test, and then again in the spring whenever we sit down with them and talk about how many goals they've met and accomplished. So let's look at math real quick. All right, so what score did you get on the math test?
503.
Okay. And again, iReady sets that goal, okay? So notice that you're a little bit on math below that grade level line, okay? And that's okay, that's why we do MyPath. That helps you make up the skills that you're missing right now. So 515 is your goal, okay? So that is a 12-point difference for the whole year. So again, what are we gonna do for the winter test? We're gonna cut that in half, right? So you're gonna grow 6 points by the winter and 6 points by the spring, and that'll make sure that you meet your goal.
All right, hello, my name is Brittany Nickel, principal of East Hardin Middle School, and this evening we're hosting our second quarter open house, in which we're calling our Student Spectacular. And the goal and purpose of this evening is for parents to come in and for their student, their child, to show them what they have been learning for the first and second quarter in their classrooms. Several of our math and reading classes have also goal set with their iReady and KSA scores, so they are also sharing with their parents what their goals are for the winter iReady, and also what they want to score in the state assessment this spring. Primarily, we are trying to go toward more a project-based learning classroom environment, and students are showcasing their projects to their parents, explaining what they created, why they created it, and the final outcome. So parents are going around to each classroom getting a signature or a stamp, and they are also picking up their student individual scores. So lots to do this evening. We also have some treats available for purchase, so hopefully just a fun evening getting to talk to parents about what the learning that's happening at East Hardin.
My name is Danielle Cassidy, and I'm the principal here at James T. Alton Middle School. Today we are goal setting with students. We have goal setting sheets that have their KSA scores on them from last year, and so we're able to sit down with them and talk to them about their scores from last year and set a goal for next year. And then we also have their iReady scores. Students are tested in iReady 3 times a year. They take the test early in August when they first get here, and that kind of sets a baseline for them for the year. And then we use iReady to predict what they should get at the mid-year, which is in December. And they have already taken the first 2 tests of the year, August and then again in December, and they're getting ready to take their final test. And so we sit down with them. Their teachers have already goal set with them for that second test, and now we, the administrators, and we have some help here from central office as well today helping us out, and we sit down with each and every student in the building and we talk about their KSA scores and their iReady scores, and we set a goal for them to help them improve.
Hey, my name's Nick Ritter. I'm assistant principal here at JTA. We're also working with showing the kids the data for how they did on KSA last spring. They do reading and math each year, but like 7th grade has a science assessment that they need to, really be focusing on. I know Mr. Barger and Ms. Troutman are really working hard on using a lot of test prep strategies and going through like mock trials, you know, so the kids are familiar with that, especially with it moving to a computer-based system. And then 8th grade is going to have the social studies test this year, which is, you know, talking to the department chair for social studies, it's very heavily based on reading. So there's a lot of parallels there between the reading test and the social studies test, and that's what I've been trying to tell the kids today.
I'm Greg Sutton, Chief Academic Officer for Hardin County Schools, and I'm so glad that Ms. Cassidy, the principal at James T. Alton Middle School, invited myself and Ms. Yates, Chastity Yates, and Lisa Slavin, some of our instructional service department team, in for a few days to help goal set with their kids. You know, we talk about those big impact things that really make a difference in individual growth and school improvement. And two things I always think about that I go back to are feedback and a growth mindset through goal setting. You know, through the goal setting process, we're sitting here listening to kids talk about their iReady scores, their growth from their fall to winter, and now their spring goal so they can finish strong. And we're also sitting here talking to the students about their KSA scores, how they did in 6th grade, and now how they want to do maybe this year in the 7th grade, or if they're 7th grade last year, how they want to do in the 8th grade. So it's been a very impactful process for us, and the biggest part we want to talk about is listening to students and talking about the process they go through to use their growth mindset to achieve you know, at higher levels. So I'm very proud of the students at James T. Alton Middle School. I greatly appreciate the invite, and I look forward to seeing the difference this is going to make as they finish the year strong here at in Trojan Nation. So thanks for having us out, and we'll see you next time.